I am super excited today because I have a free cut file here on my SNC or ScanNCut USB drive that I just downloaded from Canvas Workspace free, and it features a bat. And not only does it feature a bat, but what you see here is this is a velvety material that is made for rhinestones, because you can cut your own rhinestone designs with the ScanNCut, and this is transfer material to move the rhinestones onto your project. I'll show you exactly what that does in a moment. I've also got this gray felt is a felt pad that I use when I'm doing iron-on. This purple felt is going to be the base of my bat. We're gonna make a bat necklace. One of my favorite things to do with those ScanNCut files is create something that's unique. So here's my ScanNCut. We're gonna power it on. I love to take those free cut files and then make them my own. For example, this project was shown as a baseball cap. Well, I don't want a baseball cap, but I like the bat a lot. So here we go. So once we turn it on, we don't need to resume anything. I'm going in here to retrieve data, and you can see them right here. So we'll do the rhinestone first. Now, I cannot change the size on this because, as you can see, and I'm going to zoom in here for you. As you can see here, our bat pattern is a circle. It's a bunch of circles, and these circles are designed for rhinestones. So if I was to try to resize this, it wouldn't work because all the little circles are set and it's not going to auto add. If you want to make your own custom design with rhinestones, you need to go onto your computer and use Canvas Workspace, where you can design, add, edit, and create custom files for rhinestones. But we're not doing that today. We're just using the materials. So we're going to say, okay, and we can move this if we want it to be somewhere else for some reason. Otherwise, what we're going to do is go ahead and go through to cut. Now I've just loaded my mat with my rhinestone material, the velvety material here, which really nice, and just make sure it's on there nice. Now you see how half cut is on? You can change that here. We want half cut on because we want the velvety material to cut, not the backing sheet. So go ahead and start. Once it's finished cutting, I'm just setting it aside for now. Now it's hard to see on here, but it is here. The little holes are cut, and we'll get to that in a moment, but I like to go ahead and get all my cutting done at once. So we're going to go back into retrieve data, and this time we'll pick the other pattern. Now this pattern is just a cut file of the bat. We're going to say, okay, now you can move this anywhere you want. You won't affect anything. What I am going to do though is go in here, object edit, this middle button here. I'm going to cut 2 of them. Okay, I'm going to cut 2 of them because I think I want to layer one on top of the other and use it that way. So I have my purple felt, and I have some usable backing on there. I have that backing on there just honestly, just simply makes it just a little bit easier for me to handle. And I think what I want to do is take the 2 bats and put them together. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, it's going to be a lot easier to do. And I've got my mat here, and I've got my felt put down. The other thing I'm going to do is reverse one of them. I don't think there's any differences. I think they're exactly identical. But by reversing one of them, I ensure that they will layer over the top of each other beautifully, because I'm going to want to sandwich those, the fusible iron-on stuff. I'm going to want it to fuse to itself. So that should be good. We're going to click OK. And when we get to cut, our one difference here is we're going to go in and turn off half cut, because we want this to cut all the way through, and start. I have my 2 bats cut. You can see here on my mat, they've got the protective paper coating is still on there. So I'm going to want to peel that off. Now I could go ahead, and my intention is to do some stitching or stitch these together, or maybe I just can glue them or iron them. We don't need to hot glue them. They have that, put them together. But I wanted to see the rhinestone pattern first to make my decisions here. Now, my rhinestone pattern, you might notice that it is cut apart. And the reason for that is we can keep cutting more designs out of our sheet of material. We don't have to use a full sheet for one little piece. So be sure to, you know, conserve your material and go at it that way. I think it makes a lot of sense there. So I've got my little, you can use a pick tool. Actually, a pick tool might be better. And it's going to be hard to see on video here because it's very, very faint. But what I'm going to do, there's a couple of different approaches you can take. You can try peeling it away and removing the dots, but that doesn't always work especially well. But sometimes by doing this, what happens is you can see the dots better to pop them off. You can see there's one. We need to pop all of those little dots out. And you can work with it, like I said, you can work with a pick tool. Sometimes I find it easier to flip it over so I can see the cut line where the stubborn little dot is. It really does just kind of depend on your design and how it cut out, and if it's wanting, sometimes all the little dots want to peel off, sometimes they all need a little help. It's just some basic weeding, and you're just going to take your time. Here you can see that, there we go. Now they're starting to really come off. You just want to make sure that you fully remove them. Do not leave them around because you don't want them to interfere with your next part, which is to apply the rhinestones. So here you can see my bat pattern, and it's all weeded out. Now here's the great thing. So I cut even a little more. That'll make it easier for me to put this pattern on and off this material if I needed to for any reason. You can reuse this as many times as you like. So if you create a rhinestone pattern and you want to make, 20 of something, maybe I wanted to make a bat banner and make lots and lots of these, you absolutely can. You can reuse this over and over. So your next step, I have some little clear or white rhinestones here that I'm going to use. Now the eyes, I don't have that size of rhinestone, that larger size. Woo! They just went kapow everywhere. Don't worry. I'm working here on my mat, so everything gets collected, and anything that's not used will easily get collected and used at a later date. So no waste. Now I've got these little rhinestones on here. And then this is a tool that comes with, if you get the Rhinestone Starter Kit. Now I will just mention to you, if you're going to make your own designs, it's a premium function within Canvas Workspace that you have to get the Rhinestone Kit set up to activate. So that's how I have this brush, because I have that kit and I have it activated. And the brush is nice because as you kind of roll in a circular motion around, what's going to happen is it's going to help. Oops, it helps if you don't pop the whole thing up. But you're going to be able to kind of roll the rhinestones into position. As you can see, their holes are starting to fill up there. You can also, I like the little pick tool for this, we can also manually place things. The manually placing things works well if you wanted to make a pattern or a design. If you wanted to have certain colors of rhinestones in certain sections, that can work really well. It's really a lot of personal preference here, guys. And obviously I have some more spots to fill, so I'm going to need to pour some more rhinestones. Try not to get them to splatter. Sometimes that's hard to avoid. But the good news is, again, I'm working on this very large mat, so nothing's going to waste, nothing's being lost, everything's being collected up. And these rhinestones look a little smaller than the holes here. That's totally fine. Don't be afraid to customize and work with what you've got. I didn't want to go out and try to find more heat fix. These are heat fix rhinestones as well. And while these ones are hot fix rhinestones from Brother Crafts, you could use any brand that you wanted to. Basically, you're just going to keep rolling around or manually placing until all the little spots are filled. And then once all your spots are filled, you'll be ready to heat set and get this put together. With everything set, and like I said, I don't have larger rhinestones for the eyes right now, and I'm thinking about sewing on some buttons. Remember, you can always mix and match and do your own thing. So what I have here, this is the transfer material for the rhinestones. And you just want to cut a piece that's large enough to work. And I think this one is. Now, you do want to be careful when you get close here. So I'm actually going to switch where I'm holding my fingers. When you get close here, sometimes the rhinestones want to jump up. You don't want that to happen because if the rhinestones are hopping up, and it looks like I cut it a little close here on the very end, but it should be fine. This little one is barely hanging on to the edge. That shouldn't be a problem. I like to go in and really rub and make sure all of our rhinestones have transferred. So this material we can heat set. So we can use the iron on this to set up our rhinestone pattern. But every time I make a rhinestone pattern, I'm absolutely in awe. You want to go really slowly, make sure all the rhinestones have been transferred. Yes, they have. And this little one on the end, honestly, I could have, whoops, I flipped it over. So this little guy, I could have, you know, gotten a different piece and started over, but it's really, really, most of it is on the mat, so it should be fine. I'm just kind of squishing it up right where it should be. There it goes. There we go. So it should be fine. But you could, of course, cut again. Now the slick side of this is really fun. So we can keep everybody together all nice like this until we're ready to use it. All right, so here is my felt here's the other one, my felt bat. And then what I'm gonna do is just place this carefully. Oh my gosh, this is just super cute. And you know what? There is just enough space that I think I will add a little bit of stitching, so that's good to know. So what I'm gonna do here, and you can put fabric over it. I'll be honest, with the iron on, I tend to just, with the rhinestones, I tend to press my iron, especially when it's a smaller pattern, and not do the fabric. I just find a lot of times it's just not necessary, but I know it is recommended. So I just tell you that. Whoop, and it's starting to pop. Now, if this happens to you, and sometimes it does, if you get a little overzealous or something goes and lifts up, as long as it's not stuck yet, and this one's not, you can get in here and adjust if something starts to wiggle, but you definitely want to be very careful with that. I like to press down and lift up carefully, not holding for too long. Now what we're going to start to see, look, it's that easy. It really is. Oop! My very, very last one on this end did not transfer. If that happens, don't worry about it. All you're going to have to do is get your iron in there and press. Presto! How much fun is that? I mean, I just love it. So at this point, if there's anything else you want to do, we've technically finished the project. So we could then take this and iron it onto something. I was thinking about turning this into a necklace. So if I want to attach string or a chain around here, maybe out the sides, I can certainly do that, and that's why I haven't attached these two yet, but we would do whatever we wanted to do. If we wanted decorative stitches, if I wanted to put button eyes, anything at all, I would do that now. And then when I'm all the way done, that's when we would iron these two together. And the reason for that is because then it gives you this nice, smooth back that you don't have to worry about, that's not going to be messy or have any of your stitches or anything like that show through. Now I've got my two pieces together. Everything's coming along. The last piece that I'm going to do is I am going to use a little bit of thread here to stitch just a little bit, just for extra security. And I'm also, as you can see, I've got some silver chain here, and I am going to roll through here with a few stitches to put, so let's see, that's after the fourth one. So to get that chain tacked on, I'll go through a couple of times just to make sure it's really on there nicely. And I'm super excited about this because I think it's going to look really, really cute. Boom. And then this will go obviously around the neck and to the other side. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So right after the fourth rhinestone on this side, I will put another. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun creating my little Halloween bat necklace. You know, I could even dangle stuff from it. I mean, there's so many options. You can always customize cut files. So I hope I've inspired you to get out there this weekend and try something of your own.